Today, we're diving deep into Neville Goddard's profound wisdom to uncover the secret of manifesting not just one, but multiple desires at the same time. So, let's discover the keys to unlock your limitless potential. First things first, let's revisit Neville's core principle, the law of assumption. This law states that whatever you assume to be true will be manifested in your reality. It's not about wishful thinking, it's about embodying the feeling of already having what you desire. This is where the magic happens. Now, how do we apply this principle to manifest multiple things simultaneously? The answer lies in understanding the nature of your imagination. Neville often spoke about the power of imagination in creating our reality. He said, "Imagination is God," highlighting its divine nature within us. Okay, let's break this down in a simple way. Instead of treating your wishes like separate items on a checklist, let's mix them all together like ingredients in a delicious recipe. Picture it like this: your dreams are like pieces of a puzzle that fit perfectly together to create your perfect picture. Instead of thinking, "I want this and then I'll work on that," try imagining a world where everything you want is already yours. Close your eyes and picture yourself in this amazing life where all your dreams have come true. Feel the happiness, the richness, and the satisfaction filling you up like warm sunshine. It's like being at a party where every guest brings something special to the table. Each desire adds its own flavor to the mix, making the whole experience even more awesome. So, instead of keeping your dreams in separate boxes, let them mingle and blend together to create something truly magical. Think of it like this: your ideal life is like a beautiful garden, and each desire is a different flower adding its own color and fragrance to the mix. Together, they create a breathtaking landscape that brings joy and beauty to everyone who sees it. Here's something really important. Neville wanted us to understand that feeling our desires as real right now is key, not just imagining them in some far-off future. It's like pretending you already have everything you want, all at once. It's not about waiting around for things to magically fall into place. It's about using your imagination to make them happen. Let's break it down. Neville was all about feeling as if your dreams are already true. So, imagine you've got everything you've ever wanted: your dream job, a cozy home, loving relationships, and more. Feel the excitement and joy as if it's happening in this moment, not someday down the line. It's a bit like playing make-believe, but with a powerful twist. Instead of just pretending for fun, you're using your imagination to shape your reality. You're stepping into the role of the person who has already achieved their goals, and you're feeling all the emotions that come with it. Now, here's the really cool part. When you feel your desires as real right now, you're sending out a signal to the universe. You're saying, "This is what I want, and I believe it's already mine." And you know what? The universe listens. It starts rearranging things to bring your dreams into reality. But here's the thing. You don't have to wait for the stars to align or for everything to be perfect before you start feeling your desires as real. You can do it right now, in this very moment. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine yourself living the life you've always dreamed of. Feel the excitement, the gratitude, and the joy bubbling up inside you. It's not about ignoring your current circumstances or pretending that everything is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on what you want to create, rather than what you don't have right now. It's about shifting your mindset from lack and limitation to abundance and possibility. Alright, let's dive into the practical stuff now. Neville had this cool trick called visualization, which is basically like daydreaming but with a purpose. It's all about using the power of your imagination to bring your dreams to life. So, here's how it works. Find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, close your eyes, and let your imagination run wild. Picture yourself living your best life, with all your dreams coming true. Imagine what it feels like to have everything you've ever wanted. Start with something simple, like picturing yourself surrounded by piles of money or feeling strong and healthy. Then, move on to bigger things, like imagining yourself in loving relationships or doing work that makes your heart sing. The key here is to make your visualizations as vivid and detailed as possible. Imagine the sights, sounds, and even the smells of your dream life. Feel the emotions bubbling up inside you as you experience each desire fulfilled. But here's the really cool part. the more you visualize, the more real it becomes. It's like you're planting seeds in the fertile soil of your mind, and with each visualization, those seeds start to grow and flourish. So, don't be afraid to dream big and let your imagination run wild. Picture yourself living your best life in full technicolor detail, and watch as the universe starts to rearrange itself to make your dreams a reality. And here's a little tip from Neville himself: try to make your visualizations as lifelike as possible. Imagine yourself not just seeing your desires, but actually experiencing them with all your senses. Feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, hear the laughter of loved ones, and taste the sweetness of success. But don't just visualize passively. Immerse yourself fully in the experience. Engage all your senses, feel the texture of your desired reality, hear the sounds, smell the scents, taste the flavors, and most importantly, feel the emotions associated with your manifestations. This is where the real magic happens. Now, let's address a common misconception: the idea that manifesting multiple desires at once is somehow more difficult or complicated. In reality, it's all about embodying the feeling of the wish fulfilled, regardless of how many desires you're focusing on. Neville often used the analogy of planting seeds in a garden. Each desire is like a seed that you plant in the fertile soil of your imagination. And just like a skilled gardener tends to multiple plants simultaneously, you can nurture all your desires at once by giving each one the attention and care it deserves. But remember, patience is key. Just as a garden doesn't sprout overnight, your manifestations may take time to unfold in your physical reality. Trust in the process, stay aligned with your desires, and watch as the universe orchestrates the perfect circumstances for their manifestation. Now, let's address a crucial aspect of Neville's teachings: the concept of revision. Revision is a powerful tool for reshaping your past experiences and aligning them with your desired reality. By revising past events in your imagination, you can release any lingering resistance or negative beliefs that may be blocking your manifestations. Here's how it works: close your eyes and vividly imagine the past event that you wish to revise. Then, mentally rewrite the script to reflect your desired outcome. Visualize the scene playing out in a way that affirms your desired reality, feeling the emotions of relief, gratitude, and empowerment as you do so. By consistently revising your past in this way, you not only release any energetic blockages but also reinforce your belief in the power of your imagination to shape your reality. Remember, the past is not set in stone. It's a fluid landscape that can be reshaped and transformed according to your will. Now, let's take a moment to connect all the dots with Neville's idea of living in the end. This concept is like putting the cherry on top of your manifesting cake. Living in the end is about feeling like you've already got what you want, even if it hasn't shown up in your life yet. Imagine you're living in the future where all your dreams have come true, and soak up that feeling as if it's happening right now. Living in the end is like changing the channel from a boring rerun to an exciting new episode. Instead of dwelling on what you don't have or what's missing, you focus on the amazing things that are on their way to you. It's a mindset shift from scarcity to abundance, from "I can't" to "I can and I will." Picture this: you're sitting in your dream house, surrounded by everything you've ever wanted. You feel the warmth of success, the comfort of security, and the joy of fulfillment. That's what living in the end feels like. It's a state of being where your desires are not just possibilities but certainties. Living in the end is a bit like playing make-believe as a kid. Remember how you used to pretend to be a superhero or a princess? Well, now you're pretending to be the version of yourself who has already achieved all your goals. And the amazing thing is, the more you pretend, the more real it becomes. But here's the kicker: living in the end isn't just wishful thinking, it's a powerful tool for manifestation. When you consistently feel the emotions of having your desires fulfilled, you're sending out a powerful signal to the universe. You're saying, "This is what I want, and I believe it's already on its way to me." And you know what? The universe listens. It starts rearranging things behind the scenes to make your dreams a reality. Opportunities come knocking, synchronicities line up, and before you know it, what once seemed impossible is now right in front of you. Living in the end is like planting seeds in the fertile soil of your imagination. You're sowing the seeds of your desires with unwavering faith and trust that they will blossom into reality. And just like a gardener tends to their garden with love and care, you nurture your dreams with positive thoughts and feelings. But here's the best part. You don't have to wait until your desires manifest to start living in the end. You can do it right now, in this moment. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine yourself already living the life of your dreams. Feel the excitement, the gratitude, and the joy coursing through your veins. So, instead of waiting for your manifestations to materialize in the future, start living as if they've already happened. Act, think, and feel as if your desires are already a reality, and watch as the universe mirrors your inner state in your outer circumstances. Now, let's chat about something super important: faith. Neville was big on this. It's like the secret sauce that makes manifestation work. He talked a lot about having faith, which basically means believing with all your heart that your dreams will come true, no matter what. But here's the thing, faith isn't just about crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. It's about having this deep down, rock-solid belief that goes beyond what you can see or understand. It's like knowing in your gut that everything is going to work out exactly the way you want it to. Think of it like this. Imagine you're on a road trip to your dream destination. Faith is like the GPS that guides you every step of the way, even when the road gets bumpy or the signs are unclear. It's that inner knowing that you're headed in the right direction, no matter what obstacles you may encounter along the journey. Now, let's talk about what faith looks like in action. It's not just sitting back and waiting for things to magically fall into place. It's about taking inspired action towards your goals, knowing that the universe has your back every step of the way. So, how do you cultivate faith? Well, it's like building a muscle. You gotta work at it every day. Start by visualizing your dreams coming true and feeling the excitement and gratitude as if they're already happening. Surround yourself with positive people and uplifting environments that support your dreams. So, cultivate faith in your manifestations by staying connected to the feeling of certainty and trust in the process. Know that the universe is always conspiring in your favor, and that every desire you hold in your heart is already yours by divine right. Manifesting multiple desires simultaneously is not only possible but natural when you align with the principles of Neville Goddard's teachings. By embodying the feeling of the wish fulfilled, practicing visualization and revision, living in the end, and cultivating unwavering faith, you can effortlessly manifest your wildest dreams into reality. So embrace the power within you, trust in the process, and watch as your life transforms in miraculous ways. You are the creator of your reality, and the universe is your faithful collaborator in manifesting your deepest desires. It would be a wonderful experiment for anyone to make to begin to live as if this promise were true. To talk, think, and act as though there were a limitless power attending him on his journey through life, as though his every act were directed and guided into expressions of peace, health, happiness, and harmony. It is surely worthwhile, and understanding will make the way so clear before us that we shall someday come to see the logic of it. And then, indeed, shall we really begin to live. Our lives, fortunes, and happiness are in our own hands to mold as we will, provided we first obey the law and learn how to make conscious use of it. With all thy getting get understanding, an old adage, but today is true as ever. It has been the teaching of all times that man reproduces the divine nature, and if he does, we shall expect to find in his nature the same qualities that we suppose must be in the nature of life itself. A study of the psychological nature of man verifies the belief in the Trinity running through all life. Man is self-conscious, of this we are sure, for he can say I am. This fact alone proves his claim to immortality and greatness. In psychology we learn that man is threefold in his nature, that is, he has a self-conscious mind, a subconscious mind, and a body. In metaphysics we learn that the three are but different attributes of the same life. Man's self-conscious mind is the power with which he knows. It is therefore one with the Spirit of God. It is, indeed, his only guarantee of conscious being. It is from this self-knowing mind that man is able to realize his relationship with the whole, for without it, he would be unhuman and most certainly not divine, but since he has it, he must be divine. It is the self-knowing mind alone that constitutes reality, personality, and individuality. It is the image of God, the essence of sonship, and the personification of the infinite. We recognize, then, in man's self-knowing mind his unity with the whole. For while a drop of water is not the ocean, yet it does contain within itself all the attributes of the limitless deep. Man's self-knowing mind is the instrument which perceives reality and cognizes or realizes truth. All illumination, inspiration, and realization must come through the self-knowing mind in order to manifest in man. Vision, intuition, and revelation proclaim themselves through man's self-knowing mind. And the saints and sages, the saviors and Christs, the prophets and seers, the wise and learned, have all consciously perceived and proclaimed this fact. Every evidence of human experience, all acts of kindness and mercy, have interpreted themselves through man's self-knowing mind. All that we know, say or think, feel or believe, hope or long for, fear or doubt, is some action of the self-knowing mind. Subjective memories we have, and inner, unexpressed emotions we feel. But to the self-knowing mind alone does realization come. Without this capacity to consciously know, man would not exist as an express being, and so far as we are concerned, would not exist at all. The self-knowing mind of man proclaims itself in every thought, deed, or act, and is truly the only guarantee of his individuality. In the subjective mind of man we find a law obeying his word, the servant of his spirit. Suggestion has proved that the subconscious mind acts upon our thought without question or doubt. It is the mental law of our being and the creative factor within us. It is unnecessary, at this point, to go into all the details of the subjective mind and its mode of action. It is enough to say that within us is a mental law, working out the will and purposes of our conscious thoughts. Our ability to access and utilize the greater subjective mind, which serves as the foundation for all law and action, and is the servant of the eternal spirit, is a distinctly personal endeavor. Despite the magnitude of this concept, it is true that human beings possess within their subjective minds a seemingly boundless power. This is due to the fact that, subjectively, we are united with the entirety of existence. When our thoughts are absorbed by our subjective mind, they meld with the universal subjective mind and manifest as the law of our lives, in accordance with the one great law of all life. There is only one subjective mind. Our own subjective mind is simply the manner in which we engage with this universal law. Each person retains their unique identity within the law through their personal application of it, and each individual receives from life that which they think into it. To know how to think is to know how to live, since our thoughts exist within an infinite medium capable of doing and being anything. Let's now get started. Well, Neville Goddard's teachings are simple and easy to understand. And perhaps that's the reason these teachings can be understood by everyone and everyone can apply them in their lives to make their wishes come true. Neville Goddard discusses the law of thought transmission in detail in Chapter 5 of Prayer, The Art of Believing. He says that our thoughts aren't just mere mental constructs, but they are more powerful than anything else. They are vibrations, and like other vibrations, they are transmitted like waves. While you are under the power of your thoughts, and how they are transmitted, you harness the power of your mind to get the desired outcomes in your life. By focusing on and imagining your desire, you create vibrations of thoughts, and your thoughts are transformed into a powerful force that attracts what you want in your life. Thoughts have great power, as is evident in our lives. Simply put, we do things inspired by our thoughts. What we say is a reflection of our thoughts and mindset. What we wear, what we eat, where we go, and how we live are all reflections of our thoughts. If somebody talks differently, if somebody has different beliefs, if somebody has a different religion, it is just because he has different thoughts. So it means our lives are reflections of our thoughts. We are under the control of our thoughts every time. And if we want to experience something different, or live a different life, we will have to change our thoughts. When you realize the power of the thoughts, you use them for the betterment of your life, because you know, these kinds of thoughts can bring happiness into your life. Now let's discuss in detail what the law of thought transmission is. Well, the law of thought transmission is based on the concept that our thoughts are actually vibrational energy, and that they influence our relationships with others. The nature of our thoughts will determine what other people think of us and how they treat us. This means that if we focus our thoughts more positively, we will experience more positive things in our lives. If we look into the details, this can be proven true in everyone's life, and it can't be denied. You see, every time you speak, you're expressing your thoughts. Whatever you say or do expresses what you are thinking. Your actions, your decisions, your way of talking, your behavior, your clothing, your beliefs, or even your political affiliation, express what your thoughts are and what kind of person you are. And whenever somebody talks to you or sees you, you can have some idea what kind of thoughts you may have, and their behavior towards you is a reflection of who you are. It means you influence the thoughts of others with everything you have. You can change the thoughts of others by talking in a different way. You can have some impact on their thoughts by wearing some unique clothing. You can influence their behavior towards you by doing something or by saying something. We can say that your thoughts determine your own reality. And your reality influences the thoughts of others and determines the reality and the way they treat you. That's pretty simple and easy to understand. The nature of the energy of our thoughts interacts with the energy of the thoughts of others and causes them to reflect back to us experiences born out of the very nature of our thoughts. While this may appear to you as some modern concept, this concept is proven by quantum physics. The law of thought transmission is a powerful tool that we can use to build positive relationships with others, and we can make use of this law to manifest positive changes in our lives. Well, here I would like to put some lines from Neville Goddard's book explaining the working principle of the law of thought transmission a bit further. A friend 1,000 miles away is rooted in your consciousness through your fixed ideas of him. You think of him and represent him inwardly in the state you desire him to be, confident that this subjective image is true, as if it were already objectified. It awakens in him a corresponding state, which he must objectify. The modified light of consciousness reaches the one to whom is directed and impinges on the mirror of his mind. It causes his mind to vibrate according to the modification, and it goes. Thus it produces in him what was mentally affirmed by you. The subject will express the awakened state within him and remain unaware of the true cause of his action. The subject has no power to resist your controlled subjective ideas of him unless the state you affirm to be true of him is a state he is incapable of wishing to be true of another. In that case, it returns to you, the sender, and will realize itself in you. If your fixed idea is not subjectively accepted by the one to whom is directed, it rebounds to you from whom it came. When you step away from the beliefs taught by external mainstream conditions and you start viewing life through the lens of the vibrations of your own thoughts, it becomes easier for you to get an advantage, and you start experiencing the things you desire in your life. We have been taught that our thoughts have no importance and have no influence on our lives. But in fact, our thoughts hold all the power and have a greater impact on our lives. When you see your life through the lens of the vibrations and frequency of your thoughts, you will realize the true energy of your thoughts. And when you start using your thoughts wisely, you will be able to manifest positive relationships with others and become a better human being. Neville Goddard says that a friend 1,000 miles away is rooted in your consciousness through your fixed ideas of him. Well, this phenomenon was also explained by Albert Einstein, who named it the spooky action at a distance. The laws of quantum physics suggest that all the particles in the universe remain connected. And whenever we perform some action on one particle affects the others at a speed greater than 1,000 times the speed of light. This theory is even applied when the particles are separated by a greater distance. We have been taught that our thoughts are just our private affairs and don't matter to others. But in fact, our thoughts are the only thing that helps us communicate and connect with others in different ways. We have been taught to believe that our thoughts are just known to us and others don't know about them unless we share them and others. Neville Goddard says it awakens in him a corresponding state, which he must objectify. The subject will express the awakened state within him and remain unaware of the true cause of his action. The subject has no power to resist your controlled subjective ideas of him unless the state you affirm to be true of him is a state he is incapable of wishing to be true of another. In that case, it returns to you, the sender, and will realize itself in you. When the frequencies of two thoughts are the same, they resonate and amplify each other. And when the frequencies of two thoughts aren't the same, there will be no resonance. For example, if you strike a tuning fork with the same frequency next to another tuning fork, the second tuning fork will start vibrating. But if you strike the tuning fork with a different frequency, the second tuning fork will not vibrate. So in the case of the former friend, when you have those thoughts of them spreading gossip about you, keep Neville's statement in mind. The subject has no power to resist your controlled subjective ideas of him unless the state you affirm to be true of him is a state he is incapable of wishing to be true of another. So it means if the frequency of your thoughts is the same as the frequency of thoughts of somebody else, this idea will resonate and will be produced in your mind itself. However, as Neville explains, if they don't hold that frequency again, in that case, there will be no frequency match, and no resonance will occur. If somebody isn't aware of you, let's say he doesn't know you, he never met you or heard anything about you, he will not have your thoughts about you. He will only have some thoughts or beliefs about you when he knows your thoughts from seeing you, meeting you, or learning some facts about you from others. When they don't know you or your thoughts, they won't be able to have any thoughts about you. When your thoughts interact with their thoughts, it will determine their behavior towards you and how they treat you. It's not difficult because it literally doesn't require you to make any effort. You can do it effortlessly. What you need the most is a certain amount of control over your own thoughts and emotions. This is the first and crucial part of the process. Let me tell you that if you want to control others, learn to control your mind, because it's your mind that controls everything, including everyone's attitude. Nothing can happen without your consent. What's important to understand is that you are the observer and others are the mirror, so they are just reflecting back to you. You see, one person has a different attitude toward others. Let's take the example of a boy who is just 15 years old. What do you think would be his attitude toward his teacher? What would be his attitude toward his parents? What would be his attitude toward his close friends? Of course, he will have a different attitude toward different kinds of people, and it doesn't depend on who he is. But his attitude and behavior depend on who others are. Look at yourself for a while. Do you have the same attitude toward all the people around you? Do you react to all situations in the same way? No, you have different attitudes and different thoughts and opinions for different situations, people, and occasions. What I'm trying to explain to you is that the attitude of others doesn't depend on who they are or what sort of mindset they have. Their attitude can always be changed. Just change the situation and their attitude will change. Just change the scenario and circumstances, and their attitude will change. However, if you want to change their attitude toward you, you've got to change yourself. Because their attitude toward you is a reflection of who you are. Their attitude towards a particular scenario is a reflection of what the scenario is. Their attitude and reaction towards a particular scene or towards some particular circumstances is an explanation of what the scene or circumstances are. Let me tell you that everything in the universe is a stimulus. Your existence is a stimulus because when people see you, when they come in contact with you, or when they talk to you, some thoughts are generated automatically in their minds depending upon who you are. What your attitude is, what you do, what your religion is, what your background is, and everything else that defines you. In other words, the attitude of others depends on your reality, and to change theirs, you have got to change your own. That's simple. If the behavior and attitude of others towards you aren't fair, don't blame them. If they don't treat you the way you want, don't blame them. But instead, blame yourself, blame your reality, and blame everything that defines who you are. When we talk about changing someone, it's not really about changing them, but about changing how we perceive them. Well, the fact is that the things, people, and everything that exists around us has no meaning. It's our perception that defines them. It's also important to understand how they show up in your life, and what role they play in it. How do they impact your life, and what do they cause you? You know, Neville Goddard says that you are the operant power and the creator. Nothing in this universe happens against your wish. The role others play in your life is one you assign to them. You allow them to affect your life the way they are affecting mine. You can always make a change. You can always assign them a different role to play in your life since you are operating them. Let's now discuss what the practical steps are to change them or their attitude toward us. Well, to change things in the 3D world, you have to work on your thoughts and your assumptions and simply perceive them and what they do differently. Just change your assumptions about the person and about the relationship that you have with them. As Neville says, no one but oneself can change, so we will work on ourselves and change ourselves in order to change others. What the law of assumption says is that the more you focus on something, the more of it you get, no matter if it is a situation, someone's attitude, or a particular incident.